next championship in action here at Snetterton is the Santander Caterham 310R Championship. These 155 brake horsepower machines always produce great racing, and so far the championship battle is very intense indeed. Jay McCormack arrives here the points leader by 5 points over Tom Grensinger, despite having not yet won a race. Will today be his day? Well, things have started out well for Jay McCormack. He's on pole position for our first race of the weekend here at Snetterton. Will face stiff competition as always. Pete Walters is on the front row of the grid, looking for one of his best results of the season so far, but with a 36 car grid about to descend upon the first corner, anything could happen. Baking hot conditions and sizzling hot racing action expected now as the Caterham 310R field bursts into life here at Snetterton, and a great start made by Gordon Sawyer there. The yellow and black machine, number 77, on the outside line could challenge for the first position into the first corner, but no, it will be McCormack that hangs on. Sawyer slots into second position, and those two perhaps becoming the real championship favourites have already got themselves to the head of the field. Matthew Lambert is third, so Pete Walters has lost a little bit of ground. He's on the outside line there as they round the right-hander at Wilson. Everyone just about avoiding contact. Someone's on the grass further up the road, but whoever it was appears to have survived. There are one or two going a bit slowly though, so I think there's been a bit of a skirmish there inside the top half dozen or so, but it is definitely Jay McCormack that leads the way already though, having to defend the inside line towards Agostini as Gordon Sawyer tries to challenge to the outside line. Hard on the brakes through the left-hander. That outside line for Sawyer though may have left him vulnerable to attack on the inside of the next turn, and it may be that the next time we see him he's no longer in second position. Again, one or two running wide and onto the grass, and it's the usual entertainment in the midfield here in the early stages with such a big grid and not the widest of circuits here at Snetterton. A little bit of bumping and boring, maybe a little inevitable. Gordon Sawyer is still in this second position then, and will get the nice toe down the back straight, and will have probably carried more speed out of Williams, that right-hander in the race leader, because McCormack tipped a wheel out onto the grass, and look at that, it's like he engages another gear, Gordon Sawyer. That is what the effect of the toe is, and then as soon as he pulls out, it's like hitting a brick wall, and all of a sudden that momentum is lost, and they're running almost the same speed, but the job had been done, and Sawyer has gone through into the lead of the race then, so McCormack now has to try and chase him down again, or retaliate where possible. In a way, it may suit them better to work together to try and pull away from the rest of the field, but they know that every point matters between these two, and if McCormack, for example, can get back in front and then Sawyer were to lose some more positions, that would play nicely into McCormack's hopes of extending his championship margin. Oops, a bit wide there over the curb for one of the cars towards the front end, but they should be able to gather that all together with Sawyer, the race leader, at the end of the opening lap of the race. It looks like Matthew Lambert was pulling out of line there to try and make a move. So too Jay McCormack, the number 25 car, going for the race lead again into Riches, right around the outside. Nicely done there. That was a brave move and it was well executed. Number 27 was Matt Topham, who I think was running wide at the previous corner. Runs wide again at Riches, but keeps it just about on the black stuff on this occasion. There's Pete Walters, the black number 88 car. He's fought back into third position over the course of the opening lap as well, making up for the slightly tardy start that he had. Lots of great battles though all the way through, and some adventurous lines being taken through. Wilson very wide there was the number 29, the pink machine of Tim Child, and so Caroline Everett nearly was able to take advantage, except she also ran wide, and that, I fear, is Pete Walters pulling off to the side of the road. Pete Walters in mechanical strife, unfortunately. Very rare that we see these cars hit mechanical problems, but sadly for Pete Walters, it looks like his podium charge has come to a rather premature end just when he was starting to regain ground as well. So Walters then pulls off the road, did well to find a gap in the traffic actually. There's quite a lot of smoke coming from the back of that car, and I'm sure he's keen to get it to a place of safety and get himself to a place of safety as soon as possible. So that leaves McCormack and Sawyer with a little advantage now over Matthew Lambert, who is in third position. Will those two be able to use that now to try and further extend their margin and then settle this between themselves? Ben Gillias there, the number 30 car, former Academy graduate, works his way through. These cars are, for many of the drivers, the same cars they raced in the Academy Championship several years ago. This is the highest level of the Caterham Motorsport ladder though, at which you can race your Academy car. It gets upgraded as you move from one rank to the next, but then when you move into the 420s, you get a brand new car to play with. For the time being though, these drivers are all very familiar with their machines and using them to their best ability. Gordon Sawyer there using his car to move into the race lead once again, but that I'm sure will not be the last lead change that we see between those two. Sideways action out of the bomb hole. Number 66 there trying to make progress is Jake Swan-Dixon. We've seen him a bit further up the order in the past, but Snetterton, rather a unique circuit really, compared to some of the others that we've raced at so far this year, and he's maybe not quite got to grips with it as quickly as some others that we visited this season. Race leaders then back across the start-finish line, and well, I know I said there was a gap between second and third. That gap has disappeared now because Matthew Lambert is already challenging for second position as they race through Rich's corner once again. And he's once again pulling alongside Jay McCormack on the run into the Wilson hairpin. McCormack though on the inside line, number 25, ought to be able to hang on for the time being, but Lambert seems to have good pace here in the middle portion of this race. Matt Topham there trying to gain ground. The number 19 machine in front of him is Henshaw, who he has not yet been able to overhaul. And they're not far in front of them. Tom Grensinger, double winner last time out at Alton Park, but at the moment struggling to keep up with the podium runners, who are really breaking away now, despite the fact they continue to battle amongst themselves. Once again up the inside line is Matthew Lambert, and he's into second place, I think, this time around, as long as he doesn't run too wide on the exit, which he does not. Running the new lightweight Caterham 310R there. He's one of several drivers to have shed one of his wheel arches, the rear right wheel arch, the one that has parted company. Won't be affecting the speed too much through the corners, but it may not be quite as aerodynamic in a straight line, and that might benefit Jay McCormack as he tries to retaliate and retake that second position. Through Williams, those three go, and then the battle for fourth place then continuing as well, now being led, I think that was by Doug Christie as they came through Williams. Back onto the Bentley straight, replay of the start here, on board with Gordon Sawyer, who got a perfect launch, and the gap was there on the outside. P. Walters was not that rapid off the line, and Sawyer able to take full advantage of that to move into, well, second place at the time. Now, where has Jay McCormack gone? Because we're watching Gordon Sawyer dicing away with Matthew Lambert, and Jay McCormack has gone a-missing somewhere, and that is a big, big drama for the man who was leading the championship coming into this race. Jay McCormack has dropped out of this lead battle, leaving just the two of them to settle it between themselves. So, through Williams we come then for the final time, and Gordon Sawyer may have positioned himself perfectly here. He will have the slipstream down the back straight. There's been a wheel in the dirt there for Lambert as well, and here comes Sawyer already. Pulls to the right-hand side of the road. That's the outside line for Brundle, but it matters little. He's made the move stick before they're even halfway down the Bentley straight. Was that too early, though? Is Lambert going to be able to fight back? He's trying right around the outside. A phenomenal move made by Matthew Lambert, and he's back in front. He's sideways again, hangs on to it, and Gordon Sawyer, who must have thought that he had that move made, went too early, and that gave Lambert the chance to get the slipstream back and retake the position in the same straight. 2 corners to go. Can Matthew Lambert hang on for his first victory of the season then through Coram into Murray's? We've seen some photo finishes here in the past with Caterham Racing. We could be on for another one now as Gordon Sawyer looks to pick up the toe and maybe, just maybe, pip Lambert to the flag. Right to the outside line goes Lambert, trying to break the toe. The checkered flag is waiting. The teams are cheering on. It can be side by side, but Lambert has done it by 27 one-thousandths of a second. Oh, and further back there is late drama there. Andrew Perry has gone around with Matt Topham, unfortunately, and they were fighting for a top 6 position, and more. Dear, a significant collision there as another car spun in avoidance and ends up mounting the rear of Topham's car. Topham then tries to continue with, I think that's John Shimerall's number 10 car still mounted onto the rear of him. More cars taking avoiding action. Not the ideal end to the race for those two. It was a brilliant finish though between Matthew Lambert and Gordon Sawyer, with Lambert taking the spoils. McCormack, by the way, did finish third, but some way behind the top 2.
Yeah, dead heat across the line, and I saw him coming up behind me, and I was clinching to say the least.
Once I got a gap, I was quite comfortable and stuff. I shoved it in the third and the turn 1 for some silly reason, locked up the rears, and then Lambert just caught back up on me. And I thought it was his dad. I never raced him before. And I was like, oh, Richard's really got up the pace here, and he's doing really well. And his son. I know now.
You're never happy until you're in first. You know, it's a podium. I'll take it. I'm happy with it. Happy to come away unscathed, looking at the rest of the carnage around the circuit. So yeah, we'll take that. Good points in the bag, and we'll go on from it.
Well, as a guest driver this weekend, Matthew Lambert does not score points, so it is essentially a double victory for Gordon Sawyer, who won outright in race 2. He latches onto the tail now of Jay McCormack, who extends his points margin. So a good points haul for Sawyer, but it's Matthew Lambert who leaves his mark on the championship with a victory on his debut appearance.